Okay, doing a little service video here. My Harley's got nipples. Does yours? So this is something interesting I found out. Now, good information right away is if you go to this Low Country Harley Davidson, just look up Doc Harley, okay? There's the man there. He's a old school Harley mechanic, still working, and he's working at a Low Country Harley Davidson. I'm not sure where they are. I could look it up, but I haven't. Anyway, I had a 2009 Road King, and I watched a YouTube video way back a few years ago, somebody replacing the neck bearings on their Harley, and took them apart and showed how dried out it was. And they said, you know, some of the older Harleys had grease nipples on them. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I went down my bike and I had a look and, oh shit, yeah, it's got a grease nipple. Well, I'll have to buy a grease gun. So I went out and bought a grease gun, and before I could do that, I was rear-ended by a car, almost totaled the bike, and then 2 weeks later, COVID hit, and so the bike was sitting at the Harley dealer waiting to get fixed. Now, it was there for 7 months. I didn't get it back till October. It went in there, around April-ish or something like that. Anyway, then I thought, okay, while it's in there, I may as well get them to do a full service on it, since it's sitting in there anyway, check it over, because I still had some warranty. And I specifically said to them, the service person, are you gonna make sure you grease the neck bearing? They said, oh yeah, no problem, of course, you know, okay, good. So I get the bike back, October, and I had a look, and there wasn't a spot of grease on the nipple, which made it suspect. So I put my own grease gun on it. I used half a tube of grease before it actually popped out the bearings. And so that told me they didn't do it. And I went back and complained, and the service manager said, oh, we usually don't grease them because, you know, people complain when a little bit of grease or something drops down on their fender or something like that, which is totally insane to me. Anyway, that's my story. Don't trust the Harley dealer. This was Trev Dealey, Harley Davidson in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Don't trust the Harley dealer to do it. Have a look on yours, see if it's got grease nipples. I've got a 2013 Road King now, and I just assumed that it probably wouldn't have grease nipples because it's a little bit newer. Then Doc Harley put a video out just recently, and he said some of the older bikes have it on the rear brake pedal shaft. Some of the older bikes also have it on the shifter shaft, and of course they have it on the neck bearing as well. And he said some certain years, and that made me think, shit, I should look at my 2013. Sure enough, it's got a grease nipple on it. So I grabbed my grease gun, I went down there. I didn't put half a tube in, but I put quite a bit. I didn't see any grease around the bottom bearing or top bearing, so I put quite a bit in there until it just popped out of both bearings, and now I know it's greased. So make sure you check yours, and I'll show you where to check it. Okay, so we're looking for grease nipples. Now, some of your older bikes, I'm told that on your rear brake pedal shaft down here, you may have a grease nipple on there, okay? And then I was also told that on some of the older bikes again, on your shifter shaft, you may have a grease nipple here somewhere. Now on these that you probably don't know, up on the steering head, and I'll see, let's get a light on it here. And if you look up there on your steering head, you see it? Right in there. There's a grease nipple in there. See that? Got the grease around it? All right. Now when you grease that, you have to turn your handlebars all the way over to the right to be able to see it. When you grease it, make sure that you have grease coming out of the bottom. You see there's some grease there. I just greased it. And also, make sure that up top, you see there's grease coming there. Because the gravity will naturally make the grease come down, okay, over time. And so when you grease it until you see the grease pop out the top there. And then just go into the bottom here, and you can go in with your finger, scrape some of the grease out with your finger, wipe it off on a rag, turn your handlebars the other way, go around the other side, do the same thing. And then these bearings in the bottom and the top will last you like forever, man. Well, not forever, but they'll last you a lot longer than if you don't do anything. Some of the newer bikes don't have those grease nipples on it. Again, this is a 2013 Road King, and I was surprised that this one still had the grease nipple on the steering neck there. So anyway, look for those nipples on your Harley. Keep it greased, keep it safe.